What is going on? Welcome to Heaven on Earth Astrology. I'm Michael, the Leo Mystic, and this is where we observe the rhythm of the heavens to speak the language of the soul. This is the astrological forecast for the week of the 31st of October, and welcome November until the 6th of November. And what a week ahead. We are starting off the week with a Mars retrograde. It's like finally going retrograde because we're people talking about it, and I mean, finally, and I hope the wind is not blowing too much in the microphone, but Mars retrograde is going to help us reflect and help us redo. Mars in Gemini, the curiosity, the search for facts, the search for truth, and the fact checkers, that came into life 2 years ago. And pretty much everything that was happening 2 years ago, it's like we're gonna think about what was I doing then and what did I start doing, because Mars was in Aries and started a new cycle there and had its retrograde. So all the things of 2 years ago, but also Jupiter now retrograded back into Pisces. Man, that is everything stirring up from 12 years ago. If you thought that the belief systems that we had from 12 years ago until now are rising to the surface, and have we not changed in those 12 years? Just think of yourself back towards 12 years ago. How were you? Who were you? What did you believe? I'm sure you are completely different, let alone just 2 years ago. That world rocked, your boat. So anyway, Mars gonna go retrograde, so much scorpionic energy. We're introspective, and it's a perfect moment, a perfect time to do psychoanalysis, to go to a therapist, and to do past life regression, and to really do inner shadow work. And Mars is retrograding, squaring Neptune. So it is stripping us down from all our thoughts, from all our belief systems, and asking us to align it with truth, with a capital T, with something, an eternal truth. Ad Sach, Jugat Sach, Hai Bhi Sach, Nanak Hosi Bhi Sach in Gurmukhi, right? The Sikhs that say truth from the beginning, true throughout the ages, true even now, forever true. That ultimate truth, what is that? And that's the purpose of meditation. That's the purpose of singing mantras, right? To align with a wave that is beyond our inner, it's beyond our rational knowing. And Sun, Mercury, Venus, and Scorpio in South Node is seeing and discovering and bringing to light our deep desires, our sexual desires, the longing to morph with people, and is bringing up South Node Scorpio stuff that is so dark and so wise and so occult and so taboo-ish that is kind of scary. It's like, let me take you on a journey. We're in the cave of our shadow, right, of our inner being, and we're walking in it because we want to walk it, because we feel like walking in, and we have a light torch on. But Mars retrograde, the fire is like dimming, meaning we see things that these scorpionic times are bringing to the surface, and we're like, holy shit, I didn't know that I was feeling this, experiencing this, thinking this, and whoa, this is new, and in a way familiar, because I used to think this, I used to believe this, but it has been suppressed. Now Mars retrograde is going to come back and say, well, where did I suppress this? And it's going to suppress it back during these Mars retrograde times. Our sexual desires, our deeper, darker parts of ourselves that are rising to the surface. The urge to, the need to, the wanting to, that is like, no, don't do it, don't do it. It's just like, reflect on it, hold it in, suppress the anger that is rising to the surface, the motives, the hidden motives of these past months, past years, of you trying to get something, and that, all of that, we have to suppress it. And I think that is kind of counterproductive for these very researching times, where we're gonna see and notice everything, like, wow. And even on the world stage, like, what was going on with these, and the war in Ukraine, and it's like, oh, so many discoveries, and whoa, what the fuck. And because of it, so much anger and so much guilt and so much fear. But Mars retrograde is like, hold it in, wait, don't act on it, don't do it. But in March it's gonna go direct, and I think, in January it's gonna go direct. But now we are at the point where Mars is gonna be in March. And I think everything that is suppressed now in these Scorpionic times, around end of February, beginning March, mid-March, that is all gonna, like, blah, blah, gonna come out. And maybe even sooner, because so much suppression is not healthy. So, but it is also, interestingly, Sun and Venus and Mercury are also sesquiquadrate or squaring Neptune. So it's about a delusion. It's about where we delude ourselves, where other people manipulate us, where other people, are doing things to us that are really maybe not even tolerable. But you're seeing it, and in a way you're seeing how you are deluding yourself, or casting the illusion upon yourself. So we're walking through that cave, and it's actually very misty too. It's like this cave that we're walking in, it kind of feels like, I don't know, sticky energy, Scorpio. The sticky energy is of those people who want our energy, who suck our energy, the bonds that we have created with other people, and where we allow it to happen, and where other people, just use us. And we're feeling this, and we don't know where it comes from yet. We will in March. But it's so, and we have a fire going, but it's like sometimes it's going out, and sometimes we don't know where we're walking towards. That's that square over to Neptune. So there's this cave that we walk into, but that we actually know, because it's the inner side of ourselves. And so we're being invited to walk through those corridors, through those halls, if you want to call it, these rooms, these spaces inside ourselves, without too much light, so that we can not only see all the time, and have a need to see something for proof. We want to prove, we want to fight, like we're trying to light it all the fucking time, like Mars and Gemini is like, just I want it lit. And then Sun Scorpio, Mercury Scorpio, Venus Scorpio, Saturn Scorpio is like, how can I make this? Do you have a lighter? Do you have a lighter? Just like, no, you don't. It's like, and the more you do it, the more mist is just like, the more water is just gonna come on that fire, and just like, and it's like, you have to trust that this cave. You have to walk cautiously. And Mars and Gemini is not going to walk cautiously. I mean, there's other people around you that are going to want to make you fall. There's there's slippery roads, and you're going to have to be careful, because then it's going to go downhill, and you might slip, and then might fall, and it's just scary. This is very scary to walk in a dark cave that is like rocky, and and has, so many layers and so many dark points where you might kill yourself. And it's a fear of death. But it's the death that needs to happen in order to be reborn. The sun in Scorpio that's going through these phases of the scorpion towards the snake, towards the eagle, towards the phoenix, to rise from the ashes. This is pure alchemy, the alchemical process of reinventing ourselves, and to go through that stage of transformation again and again and again until we learn that change and transformation is the only thing that really is a truth. That's that truth with capital T. And the fighting of against that change that is about, institutions, Pluto and Capricorn, that say this is the way of schooling. When you have a society that is working and that is operating and that is functioning well, and that tells the kids that are actually the catalyst for change for the future to live in that system, to study according to that system, so that they can in 20 years work in this system that we have now designed. That's not how it works. So this first quarter square moon in Aquarius that is going to invite us to look for different ways. This is pure shamanic energy, that first quarter square. It's also that midpoint in between the eclipses. So we're like, well, there's change that is fucking scary, and there's change that is fucking scary, and here we've started a whole new cycle, and there isn't a cycle coming to an end. It's kind of scary to start a whole new cycle on, how I relate to other people and how I use my desires and how I make choices and how I just have to learn to say no. And that full moon in Taurus eclipse, lunar eclipse, which is a total eclipse that is just gonna, change so much about who I am physically, and that is in a way too going to bring so much change that is beautiful, and that is also, at the same time going to take things away. There's things coming to an end and people are deciding to leave and all those things, and I don't know if I want to go towards either. So moon in Aquarius is just like, I feel different, I feel weird, and I have to do something different. I have to individualize. I have to, take an objective standpoint and just look at this all and see, what is this change that I'm going through? What is this, all of this that is happening? Why is this happening? How can I fix it? But it's about a coming together. It's about a reaching out towards people that are on the same vibe as you, that are also into, making this world a better place. Where are we holding on to things? Because it's all fixed signs. There's so much fixed energy that is going. I mean, if you're a Leo, Aquarius, Scorpio, or Taurus, you're feeling it. You're trying to hold on, but everything is just falling underneath you. The carpet is, it's just like taken away from underneath your feet. And so, but, truly, I think it's an invitation to keep walking in that cave and just to keep trusting and keep having faith that eventually this is gonna be all for the better and all for a truth that is deeper. And I mean, obviously there's going to be deception, there's going to be media telling more lies and keeping and trying to keep it, but the illusion here now with so much scorpionic energy and Mars retrograde square Neptune is really the invitation to pierce the balloon, and balloons are being pierced big time, and it's scary, and it is like, oh my god, this cave, I know it, and if I just keep putting one foot after the other, one step after the other, eventually I'm gonna be okay with the dark here. I'm gonna be okay. There's this, you know, therapy where people go in dark caves for, I mean, sometimes even days, sometimes even weeks. And in Colombia, there's a tribe even where, like, for years, you know, from the first stage of like being a baby, and only after a couple of years do they let them come out, so that they have understood and seen the light, have found a light within themselves. And that's what Scorpio energy is trying to teach us, that the light is deep within us, that the power is deep within us. You know, Pluto and Capricorn, that integrity, that power, that authority, you know, the Kundalini force, Scorpio and then Capricorn, to, in a way, very opposite signs. One deals with the underworld and the other one deals with the physical, very practical. You know, Scorpio is about change and about deep waters, and Capricorn is about just facts and just truth and integrity and the 3D world that has all its rules. So now is a time that we're gonna be changing our own grown-upness, our authority, our responsibilities, new rules. The first quarter square in Aquarius too, that is about new rules, about breaking the rules, about changing them. And that's what I'm saying, is that Mars retrograde cannot put them to action. It will reflect and it will see it. It will see where we have old conditioned beliefs that are no longer true because it was an illusion, right? But everybody around us and we ourselves are going to just, in a way, just going to keep doing that. And that's where we're going to hit, you know, the walls. And it's hurting. And other people are just, you know, just like, and they don't want to make us slip or make us fall because they're like, so I can. No, it's actually helping us. It's actually like that soul contract that is like, I'm here to make you fall. I'm here to hurt you so that you can see how you are actually hurting yourself. So it's very intense times, you know, and it is very reflective times. It's answers coming and rising to the surface, but you can't really do something with it with the Mars retrograde, and that's frustrating, right? And Scorpio wants to even dig, and that's our pitfall for these times, is that we are gonna go so deep that we might lose ourselves, and that it's like, this is where bonds are, you know, being broken, because it's just like you went too far. And other times you're gonna want to quit because it's just too much, right? So, but you know, at the end of the week, then Moon joins Neptune, Moon joins Jupiter, and it's just beautiful, and we can for a moment escape and relax, and very mystical times too, man, with Jupiter and Neptune back together in Pisces, and then so much Scorpionic times. That's truly like, in a way, the veil is thin. In a way, there's like discovering that we have eternal bodies, you know, and maybe that full moon lunar eclipse in Taurus is just gonna shed layers away from who we think we are. and just gonna unveil to us how the mountain and me are actually one entity. And holy shit, like that's what I'm saying is, in a way, those mystical discoveries that are there now can be so fucking scary that you're like, this is not true. You know, that can't be. It's a whole new framework, it's a whole new way of thinking, and everything is there, like all the energy. It's last quarter squares in a way to the sun, you know, Neptune, and you know, it's not last quarter square, but it's last quarter sesquiquadrant. So that's all like reflecting, taking in, and you know, challenging in a way the status quo too. And like, is this true? And is this like, and what the fuck? And these discoveries that are being made, and you're like, whoa, that was deep. That was scary. I don't know if I can deal with this, but you're gonna have to deal with it during these scorpionic times. And it will come back in March, you know, rising to the surface. Whoa, man. It's very deep times if you let it. It's just, this is where we are being ripped apart, and it's just so beautiful, you know. It doesn't have to be scary. Actually, this scorpionic energy gives us the energy of courage. So let's use this courage to keep going and keep walking in this cave, even though the fire gets, you know, extinguished from time to time. And that's what this Mars retrograde for 10 weeks until the mid-January somewhere is going to feel like. But it's going to help us know and align our words and our actions. It's an alignment of our, what's our integrity, a new integrity for you and me. Sat Nam.